Augusta National. Saying the name of the most famous course in the US, maybe even the world, should bring back so many memories for golf fans and sports fans in general. Many of the greatest players in the game's history have walked the grounds and played 72 in the fabled tournament. Woods, Player, Palmer, Nicklaus, Snead, Watson, Mickelson, Trevino, and the two PGA greats that are the premise of this video, Nick Faldo and Greg Norman. The Australian Greg Norman was, in 1996, undoubtedly the best golfer in the world. He had won close to 20 tournaments, with two major wins, taking home the Claret Jug twice. Although, there was one thing that always ate at the shark. He had never won the Masters. No doubt he had his chances. In 1986, he held a one-shot lead on the fourth day, but a double bogey on the 10th started to tank the Sharks' round. With the Golden Bear Jack Nicklaus right on his heels, Greg got overconfident and hit a 4-iron into the patrons. Norman then missed the par putt that would have sent the young gun and the all-time great to a playoff. Oh, and one of the most iconic putts in PGA history.
That's that.
87 proved to be even more of a heartbreaker for Norman. Once again with the lead heading into the 18th, the Aussie had a 20-footer for birdie that would secure a green jacket. But as fate would have it, the putt missed by a Muggsy Bogues-sized margin. This sent Norman in a three-man playoff with Larry Mize and Seve Ballesteros, who are greats in their own right. And on the second playoff hole, Norman was once again on the wrong end of PGA history.
How's that look?
At the 89 Masters, the Shark had a 12-footer to send him to the playoff with Nick Faldo, remember him, and Scott Hawk. I assume you know what's coming. Norman missed the putt and placed third. And this brings us to 1996. Many believed if Greg Norman was ever going to win the Masters, it would be this year. It looked like Norman was going to run away with the whole tournament, shooting the second ever 63 at Augusta National, the course record, during Thursday. After the day was over, British golf writer Peter Dobereiner was quoted saying to Norman, "Well, Greg, not even you can fuck this up now." That's like if Adam Schefter walked up to Matt Ryan at the half in Super Bowl 51 and was like, "Well, Matt, I could go under center and the Falcons would still win." People began to notice Norman was trying a tighter grip at the range on Friday. The grip change got him to a 69, and now the lead was 4. Moving day started to show the beginning of the end. A 71 would be on the scorecard at the end of the day, with the Sharks' tee shots looking more like a spray chart than a straight line. Norman was quoted, "I knew deep down Sunday morning I wasn't feeling great," and that he was, another quote, completely off. ESPN's Dan Patrick said on SportsCenter that morning before the fateful final day that if Norman blows this, it would be, quote, "the biggest collapse in modern golf history." Funny enough, the final day would be on the anniversary of the Titanic sinking. I'm sure there's no foreshadowing whatsoever with that. Nick Faldo pairing Norman, Greg's first tee shot missed the fairway and he started with an added stroke. A 6-shot lead was now 5 and one hole had been played. Heading on to the 9th, Norman's lead went from Nick Lidstrom to Dwayne Wade very fast. Norman had a narrow par save on the 3rd before pulling shots on 8, where Faldo holed a 20-foot birdie putt to make the lead a slim 3. The 9th is where the golf gods began to torture the Shark. His approach came a couple feet short of the flag and rolled 30 yards back at his feet. Another bogey on the scorecard. 2-shot lead. The short game continued to be a thorn in Norman's side that he just couldn't pull out. Even though he had been 11 under on the back through the 27 holes he'd played on that side, the aforementioned short game thorn dug deeper. A chip sailed over the pin and set up an 8-footer, which must have felt like a 35-footer for Norman. The par putt didn't find the hole, and now the lead was won. With Augusta National being recognized as one of the most prestigious and difficult courses in golf, margin for error was slim to none for their one-stroke leader. It almost felt like Sir Nick was playing the course how it was meant to be played, and Norman was making it overly difficult on himself. Augusta isn't a course where your Uncle Billy can finish a 6-pack of Rolling Rock, shoot a 114, and call it a day. If Greg Norman wanted to cushion his lead, or hell, just keep it, he would have to be perfect. The 11th might be the hardest hole to watch. Norman plays it perfectly. 2 perfect shots, a green in regulation, a 10-footer for birdie to extend the lead. It's looking good! Well, it's certainly disheartening, but Faldo parred, so keeping the lead isn't the worst-case scenario. Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and the Lambs. We are tied, heading into the 12th. The 12th is a par 3 that makes professional golfers look like your Uncle Billy. That hole looked at Norman the way Bobby Knight looks at a chair. But hey, we're on the green, for now.
Right number. Wow. 2 days in a row.
A double bogey would be on the card now. Faldo with par. For the first time in the tournament, Nick Faldo had the lead, and it had been an 8-stroke run on Norman that led the way. Birdies for both on 13, and the pairing traded pars on 14. With the deficit still at 2, Norman set up for his eagle chip that would at least give him a stroke back. The ball slithers by the hole, bringing yet another iconic moment in green jacket lore that was at the expense of the shark. Greg Norman fell to his knees, later saying, quote, "I really thought it was in." As the world's number 1 toppled onto the Georgia sod, it was almost as if the golf gods pushed him over themselves. If there was ever going to be any spark of a comeback, it would have been right there. The final dagger would be a hook into the drink on the next tee, like the Titanic 84 years ago to the day. Double bogey, Faldo up 4 with 2 holes to play. Unless Norman could bring about a paradox that would relay his misfortune to Faldo, Sir Nick would claim his 3rd Masters. As Faldo hit an all but meaningless birdie putt on the 18th, there wasn't much of a celebration, more of a sick feeling on Norman's behalf. The world's highest-ranked golfer, who had tied the course record at the golf's pinnacle, watched a dream willow away in his hands, and Nick Faldo benefited from that. It's no fault of Faldo's. It's almost like there was no winner on that April Sunday. Faldo had outplayed Norman on the scorecard, obvious, but Faldo didn't have to do much of anything. Sir Nick didn't win with birdies beating pars, he won with pars beating double bogeys. Faldo was quoted before the final day saying, "I don't expect to win, but on a fateful April Sunday in Georgia, expectations were broken, and so was the spirit of the world's number 1 golfer."
Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song